What's going on, everybody? I am Winston A. Marshall, aka the Swaggy Blerd, and this is the Blerd Breakdown, the pop culture show for when you need to know, see what had happened was. Now, if this is your first time here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and throw a thumbs up, a like on this video, man. And be sure with any of the topics that are going on today that you jump in the comments and you let me know what you're thinking about these stories. Now, real quick, as you kind of saw popping up, I'm trying to get that to calibrate properly. I am currently in the process of moving. We are going to be moving spots in just a couple weeks here. We are all good on everything. However, obviously moving is expensive and things like that. So if you would like to donate to the moving fund, you know I appreciate that. You can go to streamlabs.com/theswaggyblerd/tip. You will see that at the bottom of the news stories here. Again, that's just the status bar that we've got there. So any of the streams I'm doing, it'll be there. That's just what we're trying to do to be able to pay for physical movers. Instead of, my old ass having to lug desks and beds and shit. So if you want to donate, I supremely appreciate that, but it is not required. I just want you here watching these stories and let me know what you think, man. And with that, let's jump into it. We got a lot of stuff to cover right now, man. And the first one is a big piece of news that dropped mid-afternoon, so I wanted to get to it before everybody else got to it tomorrow morning. It is official. We know the leads of Avengers Doomsday, and we found out that Doctor Strange will not be one of them. Okay, so this is coming from Comic Book Movie, from Josh Wilding. And mind you, these are all rumors technically at this particular moment, but we have had some interviews here with Benedict Cumberbatch and others to help back some of these claims. So this is, again, Josh Wilding at Comic Book Movie. The next Avengers movies haven't had the easiest of journeys to the big screen. I'm going to take these off so I don't have to listen to myself the whole time. Original plans called for them to be released in the same year, with Jeff Loveness, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, writing The Kang Dynasty, and Michael Waldron, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, tasked with Secret Wars. Jonathan Majors' personal and legal issues combined with the largely negative response to the Ant-Man threequel meant Kang the Conqueror was dropped as the MCU's next big bad. The return of directors Joe and Anthony Russo and writer Stephen McFeely later transformed Avengers 5 into Avengers Doomsday, where Robert Downey Jr. will be the lead villain as Dr. Doom, and both Loveness and Waldron's scripts have been scrapped. At last July's San Diego Comic-Con, it was confirmed that the Fantastic Four First Steps leads will play a key role in the next Avengers movie. We don't know how much of Marvel's first family we'll see in Doomsday, but a new rumor suggests that it'll be a major part of this battle with Doom. According to Insider My Time to Shine Hello, the 2026 release will primarily focus on the Fantastic Four, and with Earth 616 Avengers not far behind. For fans who have complained about the foursome not being a crucial enough part of Victor Von Doom's story, this should come as a relief. Plus, with previous reports suggesting Tom Holland's Spider-Man will be one of the movie's leads, we're one step closer to finally getting that dream team-up. Earlier today, Benedict Cumberbatch confirmed Kang being pushed to one side means Doctor Strange will no longer appear in Avengers Doomsday. While we'd guess the Fantastic Four was always set to appear, it makes sense for them to now have a much bigger role now that Doom is the main antagonist. For the longest time, we heard that Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange would be a huge part of the next Avengers movies, and supposedly the Sorcerer Supreme's actions throughout the multiverse would lead him to being branded a threat to all reality by Kang the Conqueror. The tepid response, again, to Quantumania and Jonathan Majors firing, as we mentioned previously, and then Robert Downey Jr. serving as Dr. Doom, changed all of the multiversal saga's big bad trajectory. So again, as a result, Doctor Strange has been dropped. Now, Cumberbatch was talking to Variety and said that he confirmed that he would not be in the 2026 movie, saying, "Is that a spoiler? Fuck it." He later told the trade that plans change after Major's firing, and the former Sorcerer Supreme's absence from Doomsday is down to the character not aligning with his part of the story. On the plus side, Strange will be in a lot of Avengers Secret Wars, the Russo brothers' follow-up to Doomsday, and the Multiversal Saga's grand finale. We'd bet on that having something to do with him and Clea heading off to deal with an incursion. The piece also confirms that Doctor Strange 3 is officially in the works, with Cumberbatch revealing he's quite central to where things might go. They are very open to discussing where we go next. Who do you want to write who do you want to write and direct the next one? What part of the comic lore do you want to explore so that Strange can keep evolving? He's a very rich character to play, the actor continued. He's a complex, contradictory, troubled human who's got these extraordinary abilities, so there's potent stuff to mess about with. It's been widely assumed that pretty much every MCU character will be part of these movies. However, if even a major player like Doctor Strange is absent from Doomsday, we can't discount the possibility that this battle with Doctor Doom will be a little smaller in scale than first imagined. Then again, the cast of Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four First Steps have both been confirmed for the movie, as has Tom Holland's Spider-Man. With that in mind, it really may be as simple as Strange just not having a place in the story. Most fans expect to end with the creation of Battleworld. Now, the big question on whether Marvel Studios intends to get Doctor Strange 3 in theaters before Secret Wars, you can hear from the actor by checking out his interview, and Doomsday is set to be released on May of 2026, while Secret Wars is scheduled to arrive in May of 2027. All right, let's get into this shit, man. Bow, bow. Okay, so, like I was saying before, this whole thing is going to continue to evolve one way or the other. I have a few of my own inside sources that I'm not going to get into. I'm not going to say nothing, but things are starting to kind of take shape. And the truth of the matter is that Marvel really, really felt some type of way about things not popping off exactly as they kind of wanted to with Quantumania. So they really just kind of decided, let's full on pivot. And that's where you call in everybody that you need to. You call the Russos, you call, Robert Downey, you call Chris Evans, you call them all and be like, hey, time to put the team back together, time to assemble again and make it work. And you just have to do it from a unique way. So all that being said, I'm not surprised that you're going to drop Doctor Strange. I think one of the reasons why Infinity War worked, yes, you got a chance to see so many different characters, but we really just focused on our main handful of people. You focused on Tony and his team, and Tony really was the forefront of that, him running into Tom following him. Oh, damn, I hate that little thumbs up shit is where I gotta figure out how to turn that off. But Tony essentially going off into space with Spidey following him, and then the Guardians teaming up with him, right? You have Thor, who ended up, because he had got, thrown into space when the Asgardians died, he also ran into the Guardians and went off with Groot and Rocket to go get Stormbreaker. Cap, leading his rogue battalion, is the ones that kind of brought the Earth Avengers back together and stop all the beef from Civil War to be like, yo, we got to prep for what's coming and it's going to be pretty bad, and kind of lead those ground forces. You really split them up. If you legitimately try to get everybody into this movie, if you get Spider-Man, you get Doctor Strange, you get the Fantastic Four, you get whatever Avengers are left, so Shang-Chi and Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel and all of that, it's too much to try and put in a central focus story. You really need those characters to kind of come and go in various elements, and then you move them to Secret Wars, where now everything can kind of come together. This first movie just needs to establish how we ended up in this pickle, and you're still going to end up showing a lot of different characters, but you can't show everybody. That's why then, even if you look at Endgame does not follow the whole of every hero in the MCU. They all get a chance to show up, but they do not ultimately all follow that. You follow essentially your core Avengers, more or less, and then a few additional people that got added in, like Ant-Man, and War Machine and stuff like that. That is kind of how that ended up having to go, so that you could tell a concise story. Like, an ensemble piece does not mean a 50-person ensemble. An ensemble piece typically means you focus on somewhere between 4 to, at maximum, maybe 8 to 10, we'll call it 4 to 10. This is stupid. 4 to 8 to 10. 4 to 10 characters maximum, because at that point, it's too much to keep track of. And it doesn't mean that people can't come and go, but you really have to focus in on a specific group of people. And so I think you're going to get the same thing. Everybody will get their time to shine at some point during these two films, but your core are going to be the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and then well, I already forgot the last one that they mentioned. I think those are like kind of the main ones. You're gonna probably have him having to deal with that, and then what are your dark? Oh, the Thunderbolts, I guess. And then what are your dark Avengers in essentially, Robert Downey as Doom. Evans as his evil. It sounds like he's Hydra Cap of some sort. We don't have a confirmation specifically yet. We just know that he's not going to be on the side of good, it sounds like. And continue to bring those characters back. So this all makes a lot of logical sense to me. I'm liking where this is going. But we will ultimately see, man. Like, I'm curious what y'all think one way or the other, if you're on the same page with me about how this feels, if this looks good to you, things like that. But let me know down in the comments, man. And shout out to everybody that I see that came in here. I see Quadface in here, Big T249, Deveria Forsha. Winston been watching for a while on the Harloffs to start. It's a fellow black man in Los Angeles. It's great to see other black creators thrive, especially. Hey, thank you. I genuinely appreciate that. Haskell in the building, Stormy in the building, Can You Dig It in the building. Appreciate seeing all of y'all here, man. So thank you so much for rocking me on the show. Like I said, if you're watching this live, if you're watching on the replay or on a clip out, man, get in the comments and tell me what you think about this first story, and let's pop off to the next one. Spider-Man 4 is rumored to have found both the female lead and the villain. Is this movie going to include Gwen Stacy and Daredevil? This is Josh Wilding, a comic book movie as well. Now, despite what felt like endless rumors about Marvel Studios' Spider-Man 4 plans, we're no closer to knowing what to expect from the wall crawler's next MCU movie. Over the past 24 hours, the usual suspects on social media have hinted at Daredevil making an appearance. However, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man fast approaching, they may in fact be referring to Charlie Cox's role in the upcoming animated series. Regardless, Scooper My Time to Shine Hello has suggested that major Spider-Man 4 casting news is on the horizon after revealing the movie's female lead and main villain have already been found. When this was put to Cosmic Circus's Alex Perez, he simply responded, "Remember what I mentioned the working title was Blue Oasis?" At the time, the implication was that Blue Oasis is a reference to Spider-Man Blue, a story recounting Peter Parker's romance with Gwen Stacy. If so, as comments suggest that the female lead referred to above. It makes sense for the hero to meet her in college, given that's how things played out in the comics. It's how Marvel Studios intends to handle the character that's most interesting, though, because many fans will no doubt be hoping she suits up as Spider-Gwen. MJ is expected to take a backseat in the story now. She no longer remembers who Peter is, so a new love interest for the next trilogy makes sense. Hopefully, this Gwen avoids the same tragic end as her comic book counterpart and Emma Stone's variant in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I read it 3 weeks ago, and it really lit a fire under Holland said of the script late last year. Zendaya and I sat down, read it together. We at times were bouncing around the living room. Like, this is a real movie worthy of fans' respect, but there are a few things we need to figure out before we can get that really going. But it's exciting, and I'm really excited about it. Obviously, one of the things to bear in mind with Marvel is that your film is a small cog in a large machine, and that machine has got to keep running, and you need to make sure you can fit into that timeline at the right time to benefit the bigger picture. I feel like I owe it to fans to give and deliver the best version of what the next chapter for Spider-Man looks like, and I think that's really important, and I think the creative integrity for something like that is really important, and the studio is on board and supportive and really collaborative. Spider-Man 4 is officially dated for July 26, 2026, with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings director Destin Daniel Creighton helming a script penned by Chris McKenna and Eric Somers. Okay, so July of 2027, or 2026, excuse me. So that puts us on track. Let me see if I can change that. Give me 1 second. Sorry, because the one thing I didn't love is how that washed me out immediately. I wonder if it'll let me change the setting. I'll have to do it another time. Not important because I'm mid-show. All right. So I say all that to say, man, that like it really sounds like Feige has gone and helped just right this ship and be like, nah, we got to bring all this shit together, man. We can't. This was too much, too fast. A lot of stuff was spiraling, and whether that be pressure from Iger, or, people coming in with fresh ideas, they really found a way to pivot. And I think we talked about this on Capes on Friday. There's a possibility that the Spider-Man movie the Spider-Man show, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the way they're dropping it, maybe doesn't hit the way that they are potentially hoping. And so they're really trying to save a lot of stuff for get this out and then really just push forward. Um, but I honestly think that what we're going to see, I think we're going to see an awesome story with Gwen. I don't think Gwen is going to die. I do think we're probably going to get a Spider Gwen, or maybe he thinks she's dead, and then we get a Spider Gwen after the fact. I also think that through whatever this next set of movies through Spider-Man, we're going to end up getting Miles. Obviously, we already teased Aaron Brooks with Donald Glover in Homecoming, which I just rewatched, by the way. It was a fun rewatch. My girlfriend still has not finished the Infinity War saga. It was a goal she had set up for a couple of years, and we got stuck for a long time on Thor: The Dark World because she had heard how bad it was. She didn't want to watch it. And then she was stuck on Doctor Strange and wouldn't watch it because she thinks Benedict Cumberbatch is not only ugly but pompous. And I'm like, he's like the nicest dude on the planet, man. But we got through that, and so we finally got through Homecoming. She's already seen the second Ant-Man. She's already seen Black Panther. She's already seen Captain Marvel. So we really just have to watch the two Avengers films and then Far From Home. So, I'm excited to do that with her over the coming weeks. But as I mentioned earlier, and then I'll get back to the story, we're about to move. So again, if you would like to, you can donate to the moving fund. You can also throw a question there if you like. You can go to streamlabs.com/theswaggyblerd/tip, or you can throw in a super chat. Appreciate that too. But again, I'm not pressed. Just letting you know in case you're wondering what this little bar here was. But yeah, man, I that being said, they didn't really talk about the villain. Like, I would have to assume that we're probably going to get, like, considering he's already gone up against Mysterio, he's already gone up against Vulture, you already got all of the various villains by doing the Spider-Verse thing, by getting Electro in there, getting Green Goblin in there, getting Sandman in there, getting Lizard in there. It would be a little weird to necessarily do another one. Now, I think by the time this is over, we will get Ned as Hobgoblin. I do think that will happen at some point. I do think Flash, once we start introducing the symbiotes eventually, I do think we might end up with an Agent Venom Flash, because he seems to have become a little bit more friendly with him, towards the end of the trilogy that just wrapped up. So if I had to guess the villain, I would say you're either going to tap into, he might also take on Kingpin. I think that could be really interesting. And if not that, I could also see a scenario, because they had mentioned, the Punisher being around or something like that. So I could see maybe he's trying to stop Punisher from killing Kingpin or something because it's wrong. Again, too early for Hobgoblin. I could see Chameleon. The only thing with that, I mean, we sort of alluded to that a little bit in Kraven. And you also technically alluded to it in Far From Home, but you never really met the dude. There's just a lot kind of up in the air about who you necessarily go with. Mr. Negative could be really interesting. I would love to see a Mr. Negative scenario. I think that would be really, really cool to see that. But I guess if he's going to college, that maybe it's like a teacher. Maybe it's his own version of Doc Ock or something. I mean, maybe he's got his own Doc Ock or Lizard or something that he has to go up against. It seems weird to want to recycle those villains since you brought them in already via the Spider-Verse. It would just be a little weird in my opinion. But I'm very curious. Who do you think the villain would be? Again, they said that it sounds like they found who they're going to cast for the villain, and they found their leading lady. And again, with Blue Oasis, definitely sounds like Gwen Stacy. What do you think some good casting for either of those roles might be? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Obviously, as more breaks, if that news drops anytime soon, I will do maybe some sort of addendum, but it'll certainly be on Capes and Cals this Friday. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and pop off to the next story, man. Sonic 4 officially has a release date. So this is also coming from Comic Book Movie and Josh Wilding. All right, give me 1 second. I am going to make a very quick adjustment here. Boop, boop, boop. See later. And then I want to go here. Damn, that's already turned down. Oh, there we go. All right, that should have hopefully fixed that and strained my damn eyes. Okay, so shortly before Sonic the Hedgehog was released, it was confirmed that, yeah, that's too harsh on my eyes. Sorry, guys. Be a little washed out for a second. Shortly before Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was released, it was confirmed that a fourth movie would open in spring of 2027, and now it's been confirmed that Sonic 4 will officially drop on March 19th of 2027. Now, this isn't surprising, particularly as the third movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, has already become the franchise's highest-grossing installment with $218 million domestically and $422 million worldwide. The sequel has already hit digital platforms, which is a shame in some ways, as there will surely still be money to be made at the box office, or there was. Still, the studio has to be happy with the result as the franchise continues getting bigger. Sonic the Hedgehog grossed $319 million globally in 2020, and the sequel, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, topped that with $405 million. As a result, the series has now collectively passed $1 billion. $1 billion. Now, according to Paramount Pictures, the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise has driven over $180 million in global consumer spending from home entertainment rentals and digital purchases. The Knuckles TV series was also a big draw for the Paramount Plus streaming service. Really? Because it wasn't a very good show. There are rumblings among social media scoopers that the fourth movie will be the last one, though several spin-offs are thought to be planned. Talking to Screen Rant via GameFragger.com, franchise director Jeff Fowler said this about plans for Sonic 4 after the third installment introduced Amy Rose and Metal Sonic in the movie's mid-credit scene. I mean, usually the way these post-credit teasers work is we're so jamming on finishing the film, but at the same time, you don't want to just throw characters in there and not know what you're going to do with them. So there's certainly, as we're winding down on Sonic 3, and as we were prepping that post-credit teaser, we absolutely have had a lot of really great creative discussions and got excited by some ideas. Because you don't want to paint yourself into a corner and put a character in there and then not know what you're going to do with it. But it's all very preliminary and much more work needing to come in order to really get that process going. I love to just watch the fan conversation and just see where things go. Obviously, casting is such a huge part of any of those characters, but it does kind of come from the needs of the story and of the script. So I think I want to make sure that whatever direction it goes, that it is servicing the character needs for whatever story is being told. All right, man. Shit. So, I'm fucking here for it, personally. I am a big fan of the Sonic films. I thought that they were really, really fun. I actually think what I'm going to do... so, for those of you that have been rocking with me for a minute now, and you know that one of the things that I've announced on the channel, since I've got this new computer and it can handle me actually doing more complex shit, light streaming and things like that, not that that should be that complex, I'm going to be doing reactions. So a lot of those rewatches you see me do just kind of break stuff down and all that. I'm actually going to do a reaction and then, you know, kind of talk back with you and all that stuff about these films. I will also be trying to do that with newer stuff as well. So I'm hoping to do that with Daredevil when that drops in March. Hopefully by then I'll have a lot of stuff under my belt. But I think what I'm going to do is I will probably do my first movie will most likely be Sonic 3. Even though I've seen it, I'm going to do a rewatch of it, reaction, just so I can kind of get my feet wet. Things like that. And then other than that, I will be doing, as we go on to Captain America Brave New World, dropping in just a couple weeks, I'm going to be doing reactions to Captain America, the first three Captain America films. I would try and squeeze in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but if you think about it, that's what, like 6 or 8 episodes? I think it's 6, roughly about an hour a piece, maybe about 40 minutes. That's roughly another 2 to 3 movies, and there's just not enough time. There's just not enough time in the world to get all that done, man. So all that being said, I will be doing Sonic 3. It's going to be a lot of fun with that. I need to kind of handle the final logistics of getting prepped for moving, checking out my sister and my girl and all that kind of stuff. So excitingly, I just recorded Captain America last night. I need to edit that, and then I'm going to be recording Sonic tomorrow, and I will edit that one first. That'll drop first early next week. So I'm excited about all the good stuff coming on the channel. I can't speak highly enough, again, of the Sonic films. Go and look at my Out of the Theater reaction. I don't think I ever did a non-spoiler review, That'll be at the end of the reaction here, just because I'll be able to refresh my thoughts and put that in there. But I'm very much looking forward to it, and I think this fourth film, if that is the last, I think that's a high note to go out, that you're getting two more major characters in Metal Sonic and Amy. God, there is so much lore with Sonic. I don't know if y'all are big into it the way I am, both with the games and the comics and the shows. There is so much motherfucking lore that they could go into for a while, man. So I wouldn't blame them if they do want to do spin-offs and stuff, but I also don't blame if, Marsden and Sumter and Schwartz and all them are like, I'm good. I've did what I need to do. I'm out. But either way, I think it's going to be sick, man. But let me know what you think about Sonic 4 dropping. And with that, let's go on to our next story. Now, this one kind of had me laughing, man. Joker, Folie à Deux, and Madam Web have swept this year's Razzie Award nominations. This is Mark Cassidy from Comic Book Movie reporting on this, man. As this year's award season gets underway, Hollywood prepares to celebrate the very best and worst that 2024 had to offer. The Academy Award nominations were recently delayed due to the California wildfires, but we do have the nominations for the Golden Raspberry Awards, and several superhero comic book-based movies were honored in a number of categories. Not too surprisingly, Warner Bros. Joker sequel picked up the most nominations, with stars Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga up for Worst Actor, Todd Phillips for Worst Director, and more. Sony Pictures' Madam Web was a close second, with noms in 6 categories, tied with Megapolis and Reagan. Lionsgate ill-fated The Crow reboot picked up 2. Nominees were chosen via emailed ballots to 1,202 Razzie members from 49 states and about 24 foreign countries, who chose 5 top contenders in each of the 9 categories. The Razzies began back in 1981, and the Oscars parody show was seen as a bit of harmless fun for many years. Halle Berry even showed up to collect her Worst Actress award for Catwoman. I forgot about that. But the annual celebration of the worst cinema has to offer has come in for a lot of backlash over the past few years. What do you guys make of the Razzies? Is it time to call it a day? Are people getting too sensitive? Blah, blah, blah. But here are the nominations. For Worst Picture, Borderlands, Joker, Folie à Deux, Madam Web, Megapolis, and Reagan. For Actor, Jack Black and Dear Santa, Zachary Levi and Harold and the Purple Crayon, Joaquin Phoenix and Joker, Folie à Deux, Dennis Quaid and Reagan, and Jerry Seinfeld in Unfrosted. For Actress, Cate Blanchett in Borderlands, Lady Gaga in Joker, Folie à Deux, Bryce Dallas Howard in Argyle, Dakota Johnson in Madam Web, and Jennifer Lopez in Atlas. Supporting Actor, Jack Black, voice only, in Borderlands, Kevin Hart, Borderlands, Shia LaBeouf in Drag, Megapolis, Tahar Rahim, Madam Web, and John Avoid, Megapolis, Reagan, Shadowlands, and Strangers. Wow, they just given him for all his performances. Jesus. Supporting Actress, Ariana DeBose for Argyle and Kraven the Hunter, Leslie Ann Down as Margaret Thatcher in Reagan, Emily Roberts in Madam Web, Amy Schumer in Unfrosted, and FKA Twigs in The Crow. For Director, S.J. Clarkson in Madam Web, Francis Ford Coppola for Megapolis, Todd Phillips in Joker, Folie à Deux, Eli Roth in Borderlands, and Jerry Seinfeld in Unfrosted. Screen Combo, any 2 obnoxious characters, but especially Jack Black in Borderlands. Wow, that's fucking disrespectful. Any 2 unfunny comedic actors in Unfrosted. The entire cast of Megapolis, Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga for Joker, Folie à Deux, and Dennis Quaid and Penelope Ann Miller as Ronnie and Nancy in Reagan. Prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel. This is the worst of one of those. The Crow, Joker, Folie à Deux, Kraven the Hunter, Mufasa the Lion King, and Rebel Moon 2, The Scargiver. Screenplay, Joker, Folie à Deux, Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web, Megapolis, and Reagan. The winners will be unveiled via video press release on March 1st, the day before the Oscars. Man, how do you not save that for April Fool's Day? I feel like that's a fucking layup to make the Razzies April fucking Fool's Day, but I guess you want to get it out before the Oscars, and that's the whole thing. Look, let me answer that question as far as, like, is it too mean to do it? I don't think so. In the sense that I will tell you, as a content creator, as a filmmaker, as an actor, all this shit is hard. It is very hard to make a movie. It is very hard to act in one, to learn your lines, to do the character research, to do all the shit that goes into it, the location hunting, putting the team together, payroll, fundraising, pitching. It's fucking hard. At the same time, this isn't a first grader's project where, you know, people either get participation trophies and you want to pat on the back. This is a situation where it's like, this is a professional thing putting out there, and nobody's ruining your career for it. They're literally razzing you. They're fucking with you. They're having a laugh. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's okay to poke fun at stuff, and we do it all the time. If everything that was said was like a horrible tirade, excuse me, I need an energy drink right now. If everything was like a horrible tirade the whole time and we were like saying horrible, awful, like racist fucking shit to people, then fine. Then I could see that argument, but you're literally just having some good old fashioned fun, man. You genuinely are. And I think that as a society, we've certainly gotten a little bit soft. There's no reason, like, do y'all know that when I was younger, man, like I was a little fat kid ever since like 7th grade, right? And I grew tall pretty quickly. I started to gain my height pretty quickly. But I was trash at basketball. I was honestly trash. And there was this one kid, his name was Ryan. I can't remember his last name at this particular moment in my head. I've forgotten. But this little nigga had handles. He was like AI, bro. He was just out here, just all sorts of shit. He'd always pass me the ball because I'd be down by the hoop because nobody be trying to guard me because I'm not good, but I'm tall, so I could just easily get it up there. He'd pass me the ball, and I would get so scared. I would pass that shit back. He'd be like, man, stop being a fat boy. Shoot that shit, Winston. And he would like, that became like a whole fucking thing, man. At the time, because I'm in 7th grade, nobody likes that shit. You get a little bit, but like as an adult, I look back, that shit's fucking funny. That shit is so funny. I make, like, I'm trying to even think what happened the other day. Shit, fuck it. You guys watch Blerds in the Hood? Jay and I used to fucking talk mad shit to each other all the goddamn time. And it's totally, it's as long as you're in a space of just having a good laugh and you're not actively trying to hurt somebody's feelings, then whatever, like, grow up. I find it hard to feel bad for any of these actors because none of them were like, Winston A. Marshall in his first ever movie. You know what I'm saying? It was like wide released feature film. It's literally some of the richest, most successful actors out. Joaquin Phoenix, Oscar. Okay? Ariana DeBose, Oscar. If I remember correctly, didn't she just win for West Side Story? I think she won for West Side Story, In the Heights, one of them. In the Heights, it doesn't matter. Lady Gaga, multiple Oscar noms, multiple Grammy wins. Like, none of them are really going, like, you'll be fine. Go play with your millions. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Now, if they did something where they were making fun of people for the fires that just, like, lost everything, that's out of fucking line. And I hope that there isn't too much shit, but otherwise, don't be fucking soft. Laugh at the joke. Be like Halle Berry. Be like, yeah, man, I gotta tell y'all, that was a shitty ass movie. You right though. I brought my A game, but my A game turned into an F game. That's all I'm saying right now. Who cares if I put up 50 if we lost by 100? You know what I'm saying? Like, just go and like get in on the joke. I think that's the best thing you could possibly do. We are fucking soft as a culture. This is all I got to say at this particular point. Exactly. I see a lot of black folk in the chat being like, yeah, man, grew up with the fucking dozens and shit. Like, grow up. Like, you will be fine. You will genuinely be fine. But with that, let me know what you think, man. If you want to throw in, again, as I mentioned, if you want to throw in a super chat and make sure you get heard and support the stream, support the show, myself, or as you see down here, you can also do it via Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/swaggyblerd/tip. As you see that bar down there, we're going to be moving in just a couple weeks there. So if you would like to donate to the moving fund, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. It's not necessary, but it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate any of the love shown that way, man. So with that, let's keep it popping. Let's move on to our next story. We're going to talk about one of these Razzie movies again, man, because Kraven the Hunter, the Kraven for Kraven, is apparently a fucking thing, all right? So let's talk about it. Mark Cassidy from Comic Book Movie. It's Kraven time. Sony Pictures' latest Spider-Sony Universe movie, Kraven the Hunter, was not a box office success to say the least, and only managed to take in about $60 million worldwide on a reported budget of 110, which is much closer than to 220 when you consider marketing and whatnot. The R-rated Marvel comic adventure was also lambasted by critics and now sits at 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, though it does have a much better audience score of 74%. Kraven's failure may have effectively served as the final nail in the coffin for the Spider-Man less Spider-Man spinoffs. It fucking should be. But the movie has proven to be very popular on digital platforms and has actually become the #1 film on Apple TV+. Yeah, because Severance only does 1 episode a week. Of course, any new content usually does pretty well initially. It said film, not content, whatever. Of course, any new content usually does pretty well initially, so it remains to be seen if Kraven fares in the long term. That said, this is still a pretty impressive feat when you consider that The Mighty Wicked also made its VOD debut recently. Despite Kraven tanking, there may be life in the SSU yet. Deadline recently reported that Sony is taking this misfire very seriously and has a reset in store. Oh, fuck. We're not sure what this means for the projects that were either already in development or being discussed, Agent Venom, a Sinister Six movie, etc. But wouldn't be at all surprised if the studio went back to the drawing board and scrapped any ideas that may have been in place. Is a franchise focused on Spider-Man characters without the iconic wall crawler something even worth attempting to salvage? Many fans would say no, but there's no denying the success of the Venom trilogy. The Last Dance was the worst box office performer of the 3, but still made a lot more than Morbius and Madam Web. Okay. For the love of God, don't save her. She don't want to be saved, bro. Do not try and save this Spider-Man less fucking franchise. Like, don't. Just keep cashing your checks and hand them characters over to motherfucking Disney, man, and get your money, boo-boo. But, like, don't do this, please. God damn it. Like, that's the last thing that anybody wants. But honestly, we just have to kind of wait and see how it all goes down one way or the other. I find it funny. I really hope Sony doesn't make the same mistake as they did with Morbius, where they did its Morbin time. I don't know if y'all remember that shit, where the people, were joking online, and they thought, they actually like it, put it back in theaters, and then it did infinitely worse. I want to say it did like $10,000. So I really hope they don't do anything like that, man. But, that is... I'm not surprised. A lot of people all of a sudden watch Madam Web because it was on Netflix for free. So they were like, sure, let's see what this, it can't be that bad, and now I'm not having to pay for it. And then people would be in the middle of it and be like, fuck this, I'm not finishing it. They would finish it and go, why did I subject myself to that? So I'm not surprised that Kraven did kind of well. People like Aaron Taylor Johnson. For those that maybe didn't know about this movie, they go, oh, an action film. Aaron Taylor Johnson looked kind of jacked. I'll give it a shot. So they may not have known. But either way, this is not a victory for that Sony thinks it is. I guess maybe a little bit if you got some attention, but this is not, let's not do this, man. Let's really not do this. I have to ask, would they have to use Tom's Flash Thompson if they did Agent Venom? Probably. Sandoval. Wait. You're Tom's, as in you're talking about Holland? So you're talking about yeah, for sure. I see somebody saying that. Let's see. Streamlabs.com/theswaggy_blerd/tip. Okay. I don't know if it'll let you click on that. It probably is. Oh, do I have to do this? That work? Yep, that's a link. You got to put the HTTPS. Okay, I will make sure to alter that for the future. Thank you for helping me kind of sort all that out, and thank you preemptively for whatever donation it looks like you're going to support the show with, man. I appreciate that. All right, so we saved that. But yeah, man, I really hope this is it. I don't want to talk about Kraven anymore or any of these anymore, just in the standpoint of they're not good. They are not good films. So let's move on. Let's not do this anymore. All right, man. Let's get to our last one. I had to do a little bit of sports. I did have a Diddy or didn't he, but I didn't have enough time to pull the assets for it. I will make sure that we cover it next week. This is the only stream I'm gonna. If I can on Friday, I'll try and do another Blerd Breakdown for you guys. I normally do it Monday, Wednesday. I do have to work cross town, so I don't know if I'll have time. But at the very least, I will make sure to cover that Diddy or didn't he on Monday, and there may even be more Diddy news at that point as well. But let's talk some sports real quick. Travis Kelce's ex can't shut up. She is still obsessed with her man, talking about how she is bored with the Chiefs winning and will be rooting for the Bills. So this is TMZ. Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend is giving up her spot in the Chiefs kingdom for good. Kayla Nicole says she's ready for another team to win the Super Bowl, calling Kansas City's recent dominance flat out boring. The influencer and Special Forces contestant shared her 2 cents on the Chiefs' quest for a third straight championship during an episode of I Am Athlete Daily on Monday. And even though she was a staple at Arrowhead Stadium for years in support of her former man, it's clear she's no longer pulling for Kansas City. Kayla explained the success she witnessed all those years has lost its luster. She's actively rooting for the Buffalo Bills in this weekend's AFC Championship game because a Chiefs loss means there will be a new NFL king. Ex-NFL star Brandon Marshall mentioned Kayla's history of supporting the franchise while noting he didn't want to get messy with her past and asked what made Patrick Mahomes so special. Kayla gave credit to Mahomes' skill and being a student of the game, the stadium's atmosphere, and Andy Reid's coaching, before surprisingly name-dropping her former partner, surprisingly my ass, saying he's a sure thing with his hands. Bitch. Kayla previously opened up on how she had to separate herself from the Mahomes family amid the growing friendship with Kelce's new girl, Taylor Swift, claiming she had to protect herself while everyone moved on. But she's made it clear she won't let her private life interfere with her gig at I Am an Athlete, as she has mentioned Kelce when necessary. So, got room for one more, Bills Mafia? Look, man, I have been following this with her a little bit. It's just sad. I'm sorry, bro. It's sad. She has been so thirsty for whatever that set attention about Kelce and whatnot. And now, don't get me wrong, because I've seen the ugly side of fandoms, of all fandoms, of obviously the Barbs, of the Beehive, of the Swifties. I've seen some ugly shit. But for the most part, even though you do have the sect of the Swifties that can be a little racist, and I would not be surprised if they were saying some awful things to her, for the most part, most of them don't give a fuck. And if you don't bring up their lady, they're not going to do anything to you. She keeps bringing up Travis. She brings up Travis every 2 motherfucking seconds. And so then when she gets dragged because she keeps bringing up Travis, then she wants to cry, oh, they came after me. No, fam. It seems like you keep bringing up his name for attention. Now, mind you, it sounds like in this new job you're working, I'm not familiar with I Am Athlete, but it sounds like you're able to do like a sports show or podcast or whatever it is, and you can talk about them objectively and stuff like that. But when I tell you, you're obviously allowed to feel how you feel, and it sounds like you have a personal vendetta in there, I couldn't feel like you are more wrong about this situation with the Chiefs. We are staring history in the face. Now, if they lose, I'll get on that. I'll be right there with you in that it's like, yeah, okay, cool. We don't need to see the Chiefs anymore. Get out of there. But if they do this has never been done. No team has ever gone back to back to back. No one has ever three-peated in the history of the NFL as far as Super Bowls. It did happen pre-Super Bowl era, but the game was so different then, it's not comparable. In the Super Bowl era, it has never happened that a three-peat has gone down, period. So be fucking monumental. And I agree with a lot of pundits that say that if Patrick Mahomes pulls this off, knowing how hard a Super Bowl is to win and knowing how hard 2 is to win in a row, and 3 has literally never been done. I would argue that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. He's the GOAT at that point. He is already will have passed Brady. It would only help him if he continues to win more rings, but because it's the one thing that Brady was never able to pull off, that shit would be fucking insane, man. So I am out here. I am at this point now that the Lions are out, which was sad. My order of operations goes the Chiefs first, make that history. The second would be the other history there, and like a little bit tainted for me as a semi-retired Cowboys fan. But I really like Jaden Daniels, man. So if anybody has to win after the Chiefs, I would kind of want Jaden Daniels and the Commanders to pull that off. After that, it goes the Bills, because I do like Josh Allen. Jesus, Josh Daniels. I do like Josh Allen, and then fuck the Eagles forever. I'm sorry, the ELGSES Eagles. I did see that, Haskell. That was fucking crazy, man. But yeah, the only other thing that would be funnier to me is if the Chiefs have to lose, I really want the Commanders to beat the Bills, and then we start this run of NFC East teams fully just fucking up the Bills for 4 Super Bowls in a row again. Do you know how fucking funny that would be to have that repeat from the 90s? Now, I know any Bills Mafia people, they see that they're going to be like, go fuck yourself. How dare you bring up the worst thing that's ever happened to us, bro? But it would be kind of funny and a little serendipitous. And as a Cowboys fan who's very miserable, that would also mean that somehow we turned it around. So we'll see. But either way, man, girl, just move on. You ain't gotta talk about it. Talk about his stats. You don't need to bring it up anymore. Like, it is what it is. Whatever, man. But let me know what you think in the comments. Definitely would love to know that. That is all of the stories for today. Let me take a look and make sure that I didn't miss any Streamlabs or anything. Obviously, I think that needle would move down at the bottom. So probably not. I know somebody had mentioned they were going to try and do that, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not pressed. I don't see, where did oh, here it is. So then I should be able to check and see if anything happened. Nope, no big deal whatsoever. I appreciate y'all just for watching the show, man. That's a huge deal for me. I'm checking out what some of the other people are saying. You know, Haskell saying as a Jets fan, I can't stand the Bills. There you go. I also hate Tom Brady and want Mahomes to beat him. There you go. If Kansas City loses, I'm pulling for Washington for Ellis. There you go. Ellis and, Roca as well. Yeah. Eagles over Bills. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. But I get it. You're a Jets fan. It is what it is. But either way, thank you so much for watching the show, man. Like I mentioned before, shout out. We just got a Streamlab right now. I just saw I got a little buzz on my watch. Let's take a look. Quadface says, man, I'm torn on this. Is colorism a thing in fandoms like superhero movies? I'm glad about the Green Lantern casting, but when it comes to Black Panther, I think it should be a darker actor. Should I feel that way or want the best actor? Stay blessed. Quadface, thank you so much for the donation, man. I really very much appreciate that. And I think that that's a completely normal concern to have. First of all, I think what gets rough about it is it's always like kind of like where are the decisions coming from one way or the other and where like what's kind of spurning them on. So I didn't personally have a problem with Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Hey, I didn't have a problem with him getting Jon Stewart because they very clearly are going for an aesthetic, and you can see a mirroring happening in the comics for the Justice League Unlimited, the 2000s cartoon. They're really going for that design of him, and it almost feels like potentially that storyline, not to a T, but it's something that connects all of that together, right? So that didn't bother me. That seemed to actually be kind of spot on casting for that. I agree with you that I think that we should want a darker actor to be T'Challa. It's not to say that you wouldn't have light-skinned folks in Wakanda potentially and things like that, but something specifically just from the fact of like, yes, he's the king of an African country that was never had any like outside exposure really to the world. They really kept to themselves, and most of that, change in melanin and whatnot would be from, interracial children being born and mixed children being born and things like that. So it's not that you can't do it otherwise, but that's typically what would have caused that. So I think it would be better to have a darker actor, but I want the best actor, period. Because the best black actor, obviously, because then someone's going to try and be like, oh, well, then maybe Brad Pitt. Fuck you. The best black actor should get the role in this particular case, but you should be aiming to try and find a darker actor as far as that goes. People, like, as far as casting is, man, you do all the time where it's like the number of roles I've gotten or not gotten based off of just little minor things. Like there was a handful of commercials couple years ago where I hit like 3 or 4 something called being put on a veil. And that's where they're like, hey, we want you to hold your availability for these days to potentially have you shoot for it. That typically means it's between me and one other person, or my duo or group and one other duo or group or whatever, right? And it could be something as simple as, okay, we're putting together, this is supposed to be the progressive people, so like Flo and like her different progressive folks, and they're like, okay, well, we already have another woman other than Flo, and we have the white dude, so we want like a bigger black dude, so they'll go that way. I remember one in particular is between me and this black woman. I cannot remember the other actress's name, as a couple, and then a gay couple. And they went with the gay couple because that's just what they wanted for their ad. Shit like that happens all the time. So same thing, depending on what story we're telling, who's kind of helming it and whatnot, that can alter a lot of it. But I think specifically when you look at T'Challa, the main thing you should be focusing on is where's the character from, who is doing that. So you should be trying to get him really, really look like how he is in the comics, which is always a dark-skinned brother. And find the best actor to do it. Again, I think Aldous Hodge would be fucking phenomenal at it, but we'll see what happens one way or the other. But like I said, thank you so much for that question and that donation. Thank you so much to everybody that watched it. Please watch this show. Please come back and check out all of the stuff that I got going on. Again, the Sonic 3 reactions as well as the Captain America reactions are coming out. Someone's asking where that's from. The Jennifer Hudson show. They always do some sort of song or like jingle or something like that, or a rhyme for whatever guest is coming on, and they did that one for Aaron Pierre, which was pretty good. So yeah, I really hope that y'all have a good rest of your day. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, man, throw a thumbs up on the video, leave comments. I appreciate everybody in the chat, but it helps with the engagement. Go and comment on your favorite story, whatever you're feeling one way or the other, man. And please keep coming on back. I'm going to keep giving you all that good one way or the other. Check out one of these other videos if you're watching this on the replay here. And with that, I'm gonna get out of here, fam. I'm gonna be doing some rivals in probably Saturday, something like that. So come check it out and come hang with me, man. I'll talk to you in a bit, fam. Peace.